Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Good evening, James.
Hello. Okay. All right. So I hope you all had a wonderful week. So this is our second meeting for our second semester. So like I said on Tuesday, I'm just going to be introducing you guys to the tutors who are going to be taking you through the different modules for the second semester. Right, so today we want to just have a little bit of an introduction to project management. We are not going to go like deep into the stuff, but we are just introducing the module, just highlighting what project management is all about and what to expect from this module. But like we highlighted on Monday, you're going to have your 3 assessments, which is going to be your KCQ, your case study, and also your exam at the end of the semester. And remember, from the normal guidance that we provide you the guidelines for your KCQ and for your case study, and then we go through past exam preparation papers for the exam at the end of the semester. Right. So the tutor for this module, his name is Sandy. He will be the one who will be taking you through. And just like I said on Tuesday, feel free to ask as many questions as you need to ask when you're going through the lectures. It will be more than available to pull you guys through. If there are any problems, always feel free to give me a call. Always free to send me messages and highlight to me where the problems are so that we can solve them for you. Sandy?
Oh, yes. How are you, James?
Good, good. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we are all doing okay. All right. As has been alluded by Mr. James there, I will be taking you for project management. So just to give you a brief background about myself, my name is Sandy, as James has said, or you can call me Keith or Luther. I don't know, because I have a lot of names, as you have seen there, but that's who I am. And I'm an industrial engineer, industrial manufacturing engineer by profession, and also an expert in project management. So I'll be taking you through this course, guys. I'll be taking you through this course that you're going to be looking at. So, right, let me share with you what we are going to look at today. All right. You want to see me? It's fine. Let me. Okay. So yes. Sorry about that. It's actually good for people to know each other from the first day and to know what I look like. So this is me. This is Mr. Sandy. As you
Good evening, Sandy.
Yeah, how are you?
Good, and you?
Thank you guys. So yeah, this is me. Sorry about that. I'm generally used to just start doing business without, but it's fine. At least now you know me. Now you have seen me. This is who I am. All right. Okay. So as I have said, we're just going to be looking at what project management entails and what a project is. So when we are talking about project, guys, I think when you talk about projects are the most interesting things or the most interesting activities that you can ever see in this field. Because when you talk about projects, they are exciting, we are saying there's a lot of things that happens in projects. There are a lot of processes that happens in projects, right? If you go out, like even from your workplaces or even from the homes that you are staying, if you just go out, you're going to find out that a lot of things are happening outside, and a lot of them are projects. If you see people doing maybe construction of roads, if you see people doing construction of dams, if you see people doing construction of even malls, shopping malls, they are projects that are taking place a day, all right? So projects come in different ways. They come in different sizes. They come in different locations, depending on the circumstances or characteristics that will be prevailing at that given moment. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at the characteristics that you find a project in and the characteristics that does not entail a project. So a lot of things that happens outside, people, they call them projects, but a lot of them, they are not projects. If you see yourself, you are going, maybe you go to workplaces, you are doing your tasks that you do on a daily basis. Maybe you are receiving calls, you are writing reports, you are doing whatever you are doing there. You can't call them projects. Why? Because they are repetitive tasks that you are always doing on a daily basis. When we talk about a project, take for example, in an organization that you are working in, if they say we want to maybe improve, right, the operations that we do at this organization, you want maybe to improve our production rates by 20%. The things that you are going to do, or the processes and procedures that you are going to do to improve that operation rate, to get to 20% production rate, those things become what is called a project. Let me give you a very good example, right? Say there is a need in the Uber industry, right? The Uber industry, we all know what an Uber industry is. There's a need there. People from the Uber industry are looking for a vehicle, okay? They are looking for a vehicle that is fuel efficient, number one. A vehicle that is cost effective, number two. A vehicle that is, say, comfortable, number three, right? What do? They approach, say, Kia company, or they approach, say, Datsun, and then they tell them that we want a project, we want a car, we want a vehicle that is going to give us these three what? These three objectives, or that is going to meet these three objectives. A car that is fuel efficient, a car that is comfortable, and a car that is cost effective, a car that we can buy, right? So what do the people from Datsun do? They sit down with their planning team and with the other guys, and then they say, guys, what can we do to come up with a car that is going to have these three attributes, or these three results or outputs at the end of the day? So people will sit down, right? And then they start to plan how to make that car that is going to fit what the Uber guys or the Uber industry is looking for. All right. So that one becomes a project, because it's something that is not there, but something that they want to do. All right. So all the processes that happens there now to come up with that car, those are the processes that we look at in project management. They will do planning of that vehicle, right? And then they will do maybe in the initiation stages. That's where they sit down and they start saying that these people want a car that is fuel efficient. So how are we going to reach this goal? Then they plan on how they are going to reach this goal. That goal, maybe they plan on saying, maybe we are going to make sure that this car will be we're going to use lightweight materials to make that car. Is going to help us in the fuel efficiency department. We are going to do this. We are going to use maybe cheaper materials, but solid and robust materials, which are cheaper, is going to help us in the overall cost when we are selling the car, and things are like these things happens during what? During the initiation. And then they go during the planning phase, where they plan that for ABC, it's going to be done by so and so people. When it comes to materials, we're going to be buying materials from so and so companies, and things are like. Now they are planning for everything that they are going to use in their what? In their vehicle that they want to come up with. And then from there, they go to execution or implementation. Right? Now they've put everything on the ground. They start what? Executing their plan. They start making sure that the plan that they've come up with is now being converted into actual things that are tangible. Now they are making what? They are making the chassis now. They are making maybe the body, they are making the engine, they are testing and doing everything that they are doing. Right. And then after implementation, we go to monitoring and evaluation. As they are doing their implementation, they are doing monitoring and controlling, right? Wherever they see that maybe this engine is producing a lot, is not performing like the way that they want, they will monitor. And if they see that it's not performing to the standards that they require, then they do evaluation and then they do control mechanism to make sure that they reduce what? The fuel consumption that they'll be looking at. So this is monitoring and evaluation. And at the end, they make a car that is cost effective, okay, that is fuel efficient, and that is comfortable at the end of the day. So after they have made that car, they run their tests, they do whatever they do on that car, right? If the car achieves the objectives or the things that they were given from the initial or from the beginning, they have made a project that is successful. So here, the project was to develop a car, and that car is meeting the what? The needs or requirements of what the stakeholders or what those people would have asked for. So it becomes a project because it's something that was never made before. All right. So from there now, no, it's fine. I'm just explaining what a project is. It's fine. So from there now, if this organization now, the DATSA, they've made a new car, and that car has met all the requirements that they were looking at, so they've done a project. But if now they say we now need to do mass production of that car, we now need to make sales from that car. They start producing it in masses, or they start producing maybe 5,000 or 10,000 after every 2 weeks. That ceases to become a project. It now becomes what is called an operation, or it now becomes a day-to-day what? A day-to-day activity. So there's a difference there between a project and a day-to-day activity, because a project has got a beginning and an ending, right? A project has got a definite beginning and a definite ending. So a project is temporal. As I have said, when they made the car at first, it was a temporary endeavor because it had time, a time frame for it to begin and end. These are the project characteristics. We are saying a project is temporal because the car at the beginning and an ending, right? A project is an endeavor. This is another characteristics of what a project is. We are saying it is an endeavor because it involves effort and work, all right? We are saying a project is unique. Why? Because this car, when it was made in the beginning, it was one of its kind. There was nothing like that before. It's something that they set down and come up with, all right? So a project is unique. A project is limited by time, cost, and resources. As I have said when I was explaining that, you'll be looking at a schedule for that project, and there is a budgeted cost that is for that project again, all right? And resources that are there again are limited. There is no infinite resources for what a project is. And at last, a project should meet or exceed the customer's expectation, okay? Like as I have said for that car, the expectations of the customer was to have a fuel efficient car, all right? To have a car that is comfortable, right? And the third one. So all those three expectations, if they are met, or the third expectation, I said what? I said a cost-effective car that is maybe cost-effective, that people can buy easily. So by meeting those three requirements, it means it was a project. So it's an example of what a project is. But from the definition here, we are saying that a project is any endeavor or activity that consumes time, money, right, human effort, and technology with limits in terms of scope. Or put simply, you can simply say that a project is a temporary endeavor that you undertake to create a unique product or a unique service or a unique result. So that's what a project is. All right. It's something that gives you something that is unique at the end of the day, whether it be a product, whether it be a service, whether it be a result. And there are different types of projects that you find. You find projects where you find projects like an event. Planning a wedding is a project, right? You find projects in maybe transportation, okay? That construction of the cow train that goes from Hatfield to what to Joburg was a project. It's in transport again, right? So projects are in different in different fields and different sectors. All right. Careers in project management. So you can have a career in any field when you do project management. You can have a career in energy, right? You can have a career in construction, where we talked about building of things, construction of things. You can have a career in engineering, right? Whereby you'll be working maybe for an engineering company that is designing new products or new services or new maybe systems, all right? You can have a career also in consulting. You can have a career in marketing. All those are different sectors that a person with project management can be in, all right? Let's see the careers in project management. They are saying a project manager is a professional, okay, who organizes plans and executes projects within budgetary and time-related constraints. So you as the project manager, you will be responsible of making sure that everything that you do on your project is done within the budget or budgetary limits that you will be been given by your organization, and is done within a specified time that you will be given also, right? Project managers are responsible for leading entire teams, defining project objectives, communicating with stakeholders, and seeing a project to its conclusion. All right. What are we saying there? We are saying that as a project manager, you are going to be responsible for the project that you will do. You are going to be responsible for the different cross-functional departments that will be working on that project. So it doesn't matter that you don't know accounting. Whatever happens, if it happens in the budget area, you are going to be responsible for that. It doesn't matter that you don't know the production side. Whatever happens there, if products are produced that are not up to standard, as a project manager, you're going to be responsible. So you are responsible for leading everybody that is involved in a project that you'll be doing. All right. That's where the most exciting part comes in from there. Because you'll be responsible for a lot of what? For a lot of people. And it's very exciting. All right. What is the value of project management? So when you do project management, or when you use project management to do your project or to do whatever you'll be doing to conduct your business, it helps you in reducing or mitigating risks. So risks, they are just chance events or uncertainties that may come up or that may crop up when you are doing your work, okay? Another advantage or another benefit is that it reduces project costs by improving efficiency. So when you use project management, you are going to reduce the costs that you're going to find on your project, because you'll be having structured processes. You'll be having processes that are following a specified direction. You are not just doing things, just taking things and coming up with something. You are doing things in a specified manner, in a structured manner, all right? So it improves the overall quality of work, all right? If you do project management, the quality of your products or the quality of your services that you will get at the end of the day will improve your work. It encourages continuous learning. So you always continue to learn. The things that you are going to learn as you do a certain project, you will use them in another project that you do, because now you'll be having what we call what experience. Okay, it helps you to maximize the resources, it promotes teamwork, and it minimizes risks again. So that one is just a repetition of what was there, so it's fine. So these are the values that you get when you use project management. All right, so when you talk about projects again, they are what are called the triple constraints. Okay, they are what are called the triple constraints. These three things, they affect each project that you do. It doesn't matter the industry, it doesn't matter the sector, but these three things, they are very key to be mindful of, because they have the capacity to define whether your project is succeeded or not. So these three things are what we call, or the comprises of, the cost of your project, the time or schedule, right, that you have on your project, and the scope of your project. When you talk about time, we're just talking about the duration of the project. As I have said earlier, that on the characteristics of a project is what is time bound. A project does not continue, it has got a limited time. It has got a beginning and an ending. So the time factor is important. It's one of the triple constraints that affect your project. There is what is called the scope. Okay, so the scope comprises of, say, the outputs that you want your project to give, or the outputs that you get on your project, plus the work that you put in. So you are saying output plus work gives you the scope of the project. All right, then we look at the last one, which is cost. For any project that you do, you get a specific budget for that. Organizations do not have ample resources to fund all the projects or give you infinite money to do whatever you do. They will give you a certain amount of money according to the budget or cost that you would have come up with. So it's limited within these three what? These three constraints. So these three constraints are critical. Why? Because if you touch any one of them between these three, it affects the quality of your product or service. For example, if you touch maybe cost, imagine you want to build a house. Imagine you want to build an 8-bedroom house, right? And you do your costing and everything, your budget, and maybe for that 8-bedroom house, the total cost of it is 2 million rands. All right, it's 2 million rand. And then things happen during your project, or things happen as you are executing your project, and then your organization maybe cuts that budget from 2 million to 1 million. What does that mean? It means that the scope of work, the work that you would have planned for with that budget, is going to be affected, because now you have less money, but you've got a lot of things. You've got 8 bedrooms that you need to build. What are you going to do? For your project to be successful, it's either you're going to cut away 4 bedrooms from what? From the original 8 bedrooms that were there, all right? And also your time is going to be affected. If you are going to finish that project of constructing a home, let's say in, say, 8 months, right? For 8-bedroom home. Now you've been cut short, or the budget has been cut. It means your timeline also is going to be reduced, because you can't do it for 8 months. Because if you do it for 8 months, it means you're going to be paying people for those 8 months, even if there is no work that is going to be done, because now the scope of work has been reduced. All right. So your time again is what is affected. So it's like a triangle. Whatever you touch from those three things, they affect your project. Okay, so, and then there is what is called a project life cycle. These things I'm just running through them. Is what is called a project life cycle. So each and every project goes through that life cycle, regardless of the sector. So the life cycle, we will say it comprises of the initiation stage, right? It comprises of the planning stage. It comprises of the execution stage. It comprises of the close out or the closure phase. So as we go on, you are going to find these things, but they are very, very, very simple to understand and they are very easy to get. All right. So in a nutshell, that's what a project is. That's what a project is all about. All right. So these are the topics that we are going to be looking at in this module. We're going to be looking at the introduction to project management. We're going to be looking at constraints and potential resource problems, right? Under the introduction to project management, we are going to be looking at the concepts of projects and project management. What are the concepts? Those concepts, they are the things that entails projects and things alike. Right? We are going to be looking at the types of projects that are there. All right. There are different types of projects that you are going to find. You can have a project in research, okay, whereby people are researching for a new drug and things alike, even census. When the government decides to take census of people, it's a project. So there are different types of projects. You look at them. Characteristics of projects, they are the ones that I've explained. That a project is temporary, that is for the beginning and ending. A project is unique. A project is what is complex. Those are characteristics of what project entails. We look at project selection methods. So for you to do a certain project in your organization, you don't just take any project. You sit down and then you put all the projects that are there in front of you. Then you make decisions based on maybe the financial aspect to say which projects are going to give us more money or more profit in our organization and which projects are not. Then you do your selection, consider that. So you look at the project selection methods. There are different methods that are used to select projects, right? You look at organizational structures. So in every project that you do, there is a form of structure that you follow. In your organization, you have what are called organograms, right? Whereby you know the structure that there is managing director. Under the managing director, there come supervisors. From supervisors, they come maybe the technicians and things alike. So you have what is called an organogram. In projects, again, we have structures that are followed. All right. So on unit 2, we look at constraints, potential resource problems. Okay. Here we are looking at project constraints. Those constraints that I've just browsed on, the triple constraints and other constraints that affect the project. All right. We look at, say, potential resource problems. What are the problems that you will face when resources are scarce or when resources are plenty? All right. You look at the influence of cost, time, and scope on quality. These are the things that I said. The moment you touch any of these three things, it affects your quality. We are going to look again at theory of constraints. All right. So theory of constraints, it just talks about the embedded problems that you find in any system. So we'll talk about them under unit 2. All right. Then the unit 3 is the one that will talk about what the project life cycle is all about. All right. The unit 4 will be looking at the project management tools and techniques. So these are just the basic ones, and they are the main ones actually that are usually looked at. So we are going to look at the Gantt charts. All right. Those charts that shows the activities against their durations, right? When you talk about durations, we're talking about the timeline of activities that you'll be doing in your project. Okay, we're going to look at the work breakdown structure, how we break down work packets or work activities into smaller, more manageable tasks. We're going to look at the project network diagrams, where we are going to look at the interdependencies that are there between activities in a project, right? For example, when we are building a mansion or a house, you can't start with the roof before the foundation. So these things, they are covered on project network diagrams. We'll be looking at the interdependencies, what comes first, what follows, and what follows, and until we are done. All right. Then we look at communication and risk management. So communication is very important. If there is miscommunication of any sort, it means the project that you are doing or the things that you want to produce are going to be affected. So we look at communication in project, and then we look at how we manage any uncertainties that will come up in those projects under risk management, right? Then we look at leadership teams and stakeholder management. There we look at the leadership styles that are there. So when we talk about leadership styles, we have a lot of leadership styles that are there. We have we always hear people, maybe politicians, saying that I'm a servant what? I'm a servant leader. So there is servant leadership. It's a leadership style. There is autocratic leadership and there is bureaucratic leadership. All those are different what? Leadership styles that you find. We'll look at them on Unit 6 there. We'll look at the differences that you find between management and what leadership is, right? Team formation and team dynamics, how we develop project management teams, and how do we keep or maintain the cohesion between those team members. Because these team members, remember, they've got different backgrounds, they've got different cultures. So you need to make sure that when you form them, you form a team that is cohesive, a team that works together for the common good and for the common cause. We are going to look at stakeholders. So when you hear stakeholder, it's just someone who's got an interest in a project. They are called stakeholders. So stakeholders, anybody, whether it be an individual or whether they be organizations that have got an interest in the project, they are what are called stakeholders. All right. Then we look at quality in project management. Obviously, when we talk about quality, we are saying quality, we are looking at the ability of a product, right, or a service to meet or exceed the expectations of stakeholders. And I said stakeholders are individuals and are people and are groups or organizations with an interest in the project. So when we talk about quality, we look at quality management processes, we look at quality assurance and quality control. Then last but not least, we will look at the project integration management, right? So here, integration management is a field that integrates different areas of project management. It's a field that integrates, say, project quality management, project risk management, project communication management, okay, project scope management. All those different areas that constitute project management, we integrate them under project integration management. All right. So in a nutshell, these are the topics that we are going to look at. And the method that we're going to use during our lessons, we are going to look at notes, all right? We're going to look at exam paper discussions. We're going to do questions from past examination papers. So I'll be looking at these notes. We go through them together, right? After we go through them together, we discuss, we talk about any areas that people don't understand and things alike. And maybe the next session that we have, we look at a question paper, and then we look at a question paper with what we would have covered the previous week. So if we say we cover the aspect of, say, risk management, when we look at our question paper, we'll be looking at questions that look at risk management, so that we do some theory and we do some papers. We do some theory and we do some papers. And at last, when we are done with everything, we'll look at full examination question papers, and then we do the revisions. So that's how we are going to be doing it from when we meet the next time. That's how we are going to be doing this. All right. So yes, I think, yeah, that's what projects are all about. That's what project management is all about. All right. Yes, we have talked. Let's talk here. Let's discuss. Are there any questions from the things that we've been looking at?
Hi, not from my end. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Others, are there any hazy areas? Are there any hazy areas or anything that we did not get from our introduction? Are there any areas, guys? If you don't want to say something, you can type there. You can type on the chat there, so that we read everything that is there and we discuss on it. All right. So I think so guys, did you understand the difference between what a project is and what processes are? All right. I think people have understood. Did you understand from the example that I gave you of a vehicle? All right. So all right. So that's brilliant to know. That's brilliant to know. So the way that I do things, I try by all means to simplify things. You're going to be surprised that as we go through this module, some of you might think that these things are very, very simple because they are going to be simpler. They are going to be very much simple. You won't even believe that it's project management. Actually, it's exciting and is one of the easiest easiest course that you can do. So you'll find out when we go through the module together. But if you don't have any other questions, guys, I think for today, I think for the day, I can safely say that we are fine.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right,
Okay,
James,
guys.
you can take over. I think I'm done with these guys. I think you can take over.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sandy. So, guys, meeting next week on Thursday. So, project management will be every Thursday at 7 o'clock, unless Sandy has got some requests. Sometimes he might request you guys to meet at 8 o'clock, something like that. But no, it's something that we can talk about. So, remember, like I had highlighted in our first lecture, please make sure that you attend our next lecture, because in August we are going to skip, I think there's a week that we are going to skip. I think it's the first week of August. Sandy might not be available for about a week or so. So please make sure that you don't miss these first introduction classes, because he's going to try to cover a little bit of ground so that he can cover that week where he will not be available. Then again, we are going to do the assignment together. I think the assignment we'll do it maybe in the second week of August or somewhere there. That's when we'll do the assignment. Second or third week of August, that's when we'll do the assignment. Just when Sandy comes back, he will just come back and then do the assignment with you, and then we can submit that. Then if there are any questions and etc. that you have, I've worked with Sandy for quite a while now, and I know that he always delivers even above par. So I know that you guys are in good hands. Always feel free to ask him as many questions as possible. Ask him to clarify things that you do not understand. If there are topics where you really think that, hey, Sandy, can we do this topic again? Always feel free to ask him. He's always free to do that for you guys, because he wants to make sure that by the end of the thing, you guys are ready. So he also is the one who takes you guys for your postgraduate. For those that are going to do postgraduate diploma in project management, Sandy is the one who's going to be taking you through those modules. You know, your project scheduling, your advanced project management, your project resource, and all of those things. He's the one who also specializes at VUT in teaching those modules. So get acquainted with him. You're going to be with him for a while, especially if you're going to also do the postgrad diploma in project management. I hope you had a wonderful time. We shall see each other, I believe, on Sunday with Susan for ethical business management. For those of you that are doing ethical business management, we'll meet on Sunday with Susan. Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good night.
so much. Bye.